What's up, Michigan? I'm in Michigan. I'm in a hotel near Ann Arbor doing TYT infusion tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern. Here to do a loser Donald at 2 in the morning here in Michigan. Just got into the hotel. Flight was delayed 3 hours. Not a big deal. You think I'm daunted? I'm not daunted. I'm undaunted. Okay, so I gotta be honest with you. Having to do a loser Donald segment every day for 100 days straight, kind of looking forward to the election being over. But this is a good one. They're almost all good. They're all funny because he's such a clown. So now you guys might have seen the story about his tax returns from 1995. New York Times got a hold of him. By the way, it looks like you know who sent it to them? Donald Trump. Okay, so now we don't know that for sure, and you're thinking, why would he do that? Because he didn't want to include all the tax returns, because then you find out he probably didn't give any money to charity and all that stuff, and he's not that rich, yada yada. But he sends one set of returns back 95 that shows a giant loss. I'll tell you how much in a second, which then allows him to, not pay any tax on the income he makes for like the next 18 years, because he lost so much money that year, he's still making up for it. Okay, so and then you can tell he sent it for two reasons. One is the New York Times traced it back, and it came from Trump Tower. He's such a clown. Okay, it doesn't say who it came from, but it came from Trump Tower. And then all of his surrogates went out today on television and did not deny it. Instead, they said, Mr. Trump's a genius. The way he works the tax system, he's a good businessman. Chris Christie, what an embarrassment. A total embarrassment out there going, the way he did it was genius. No, it's not genius. So let me get to the part that's the loser Donald part that not enough people are talking about today. So that's part of the reason why I'm glad I do these segments. So his loss that year was $916 million. Wait a minute. If he's such a great businessman, why did he lose $916 million in 1 year? Those losses were so devastating, it took 2 decades of income away. If that's true, look, think about it this way. If it's BS, then he's not paying taxes even though he should, which should piss you off because you're paying taxes. Nobody comes and messes with your taxes and tells you how you don't have to pay any, and you could find a loophole that the rich find, right? Or, no, it's real. He lost $916 million and hasn't been able to make up for it in 18 years. In which case, he hasn't made any money in the last 18 years. So which one is it? Neither one is very good at all. All you guys out there who are Trump supporters, he's going to be great for the economy. He's going to be wonderful. You know why? He's such a great businessman. Your great businessman lost nearly $1 billion in a year. Back then, he claimed that his wealth was $2 billion. Of course, as always, unverifiable. That means he lost nearly 50% of his money in 1 year. He's such an idiot. That's not a savvy business move. You know what's a savvy business move? Making money, not losing money. It's not that complicated. It isn't. So all you Trump supporters, you're backing a total goddamn loser. So anyway, just a couple of fun last details for you guys. They find an accountant who did it, the New York Times did, Jack Mitnick. He's retired in Florida. And he did Trump's taxes for 30 years from when he was 18, presumably, to when he was 48. But mainly he was Trump's dad's accountant. And when they asked him to compare the two, he's like, Fred Trump was a sophisticated, detail-oriented, smart businessman. He's like, Donald Trump was not as sophisticated. You know what that means? Dummy. Dummy, that's what it means. He says, he was brash and undisciplined. Dummy. You know who's a good, undisciplined businessman? No one. The people who are undisciplined and still have any money left is because they started with a giant amount of money and they haven't completely thrown it all away yet. So he's undisciplined. He said he didn't pay any attention to details. He said, Jack Mitnick, his accountant said, Ivana, who he was married to for a long time at that time, uh, asked more questions than Trump did. Now, in '95, he's then married to Marla Maples. I don't know if she's asking any questions. Trump doesn't pay attention to details so much. He wrote in that book Art of the Deal that he wrote in, I believe, '87 about Mitnick. So he says, yeah, that's my accountant, no question. He misspelled Mitnick's name. Dude, you're writing a book. You're bragging about how great a businessman you are and how sophisticated you are. Spell your accountant's name right. Everything he does is clownish. Everything. Yeah, I get it. He knows how to draw attention to himself. He's like a big child. Look at me, Daddy. Look at me. I'm over here. I'm Donald Trump. I put my name on all the buildings. I put him on all the buildings. I mean, nearly all went bankrupt later. By the way, one last thing on all the tax games that he plays. Do you know another story from the New York Times is that he got $885 million in tax breaks from New York City. First of all, if you live in New York City, that means that's $885 million he should have paid so that your kids could go to good schools, so that an ambulance can arrive when you need one, etc. But he didn't do any of that because how did he do it, by the way? He made deals with politicians. He sued. What happened, conservatives? I thought you were for tort reform. Anyway, mainly he played the system. He was part of the corrupt system. Yes, government officials took his money, but he also gave it to them. He's part of that corrupt system. He says, oh, yeah, I know the system really well. Well, are you going to fix it? No, you're not going to fix it. You have no plan to fix it. You enjoy that corruption. That's mainly how you made your money in the first place. So, by the way, if you had $885 million in tax breaks, you'd make a lot of money too. In fact, you'd make a lot more than Donald Trump. If you had Donald's daddy who left you $200 million and then you got $885 million in tax breaks, first of all, you'd have $1 billion right there. And I bet you wouldn't have lost $916 million in 1 year alone. The guy is a thoroughbred loser. That's what he is.